Hello friends, this is Liz with Crafty Devotion. Today we'll be making this beauty. It is basically another version of one that was requested by one of my subscribers. Her name was Patricia, and she said that she'd like to see number 2 and number 4. So this is number 2, and I'll be showing you how to make this flower and maybe a couple of other little tricks. This one was made with the fat quarter. Please look at video number 1 because I explain what fabrics we're using and all of that. But it is cotton, but I explain some tricks, and we will not be doing this part yet. This will be coming. I'll see where I have time to squeeze it in. Maybe next time. On this flower, I have one large circle flower in a colored fabric, one smaller circle flower in a white fabric, and then I have a flower on top. So there's 3 flowers on this one. But I decided I wanted to put one more circle fabric, so I layered the colors. So I have, this one has a white slightly larger than this one, and then there's another white, and then there's another pink. That's why it looks so much fluffier. I want you to see the difference in the fluffiness. Can you see the difference? Okay, so if you want it flat, you by all means you can make it flat and just use less colors, and you use a little less fabric to make it flat. And to make it nice and fluffy, you use a little more fabric, and you know, do some things, some tricks to make it fluffy. I want you to take your fabric, and basically remember we're working with 18 inches of fabric because we're trying to do this on a budget. 4 inches by 9 inches, because we cut the 18-inch fabric in half that I talked to you about in video 1 of this series. And now if you notice the phrase, you see the phrase? Take time to fray your fabric. Now I'm not going to do all the fraying right now, but I am going to just show you how. When I'm fraying this particular fabric, I found out that sometimes I can fray only one at a time, but as I get it going, sometimes I'm able to do 3 at a time. But basically you're just removing, I'll go kind of slow, I just removing the thread. And this is what I call one of my circle flowers with the alos technique. I have discovered how to make these flowers using a hairpin. So here's my hairpin. This is the smaller hairpin. Sometimes I use the larger when I make really full flowers. But you take the hairpin, you put it on the center going upward, and then you're going to just gather the entire thing. It's not a lot of fabric, so I just kind of push it downward this way, and then look how quickly it becomes a circle flower. But you still need one more step. I use a piece of cotton string. You can use yarn, you can use wire, but I prefer my cotton string. I really like how it holds it together, and I have a lot of it. So, and then what you do is you, like if you're going to tie, the first step to tying your shoe, but do it 2 times. This really helps to keep it snug while you're finishing tying this off. Move it aside. So that, see, the double knotting helps it to stay together. And then just make sure you finish the snugness. And now just knot it. And there you go. See the flower? Now, see how this is off? It's kind of crooked there. Well, this is the point where you use to adjust it. Connect them together, make sure they're about the same. You can see how easily that fits. Almost every time that you make one of these flowers or any other flower, you need to adjust it so that it looks. Sometimes when you're working with these fabrics, with these pattern fabrics, sometimes the way you cut your fabric can give you a variety of colors. So for instance, if you notice it has patterns, I want you to notice the patterns. Notice that this pattern going this way has a lot of red. And then here it has red, blue, going this way. So depending on where you cut your fabric, you could possibly make it stand out. Can you see all the blues on this side? And see all the reds on this side? What I did was, now I'm going to switch this side to red. I'm going to show you what I did. So I took the red, pulled it up, and pushed the blues down. Okay, now look for the next red. Here, I want it red. So I pulled the red up and I pushed. You can see it's starting to turn all red, right? Now where's my next red? It's right here, so I'm pushing. So you can actually maneuver these petals in such a way that you can actually, if you have right patterns, you can actually highlight the patterns. Can you see that it's starting to turn all red? Okay, but I'm going to put it back to blue because I actually have, so now I'm going to make them all blue. So all you do is pull it up before you glue it. You have to do this before you glue it. Okay, because I want my blue to stand out, because I have a blue sample there to show you how it will help to bring out the design. So if you had maybe some red or pink that you want to put in the center, then you can highlight that red with the fabric. See, I have all these tricks that I figure out how to do things. I'm just frugal that way, where I try to make the most of everything I have. So this is not glued yet. I didn't glue anything, but can you see how mostly blue's sticking out? I'm not going to take all of the time to do it because, and then once you put glue on here, the blues will stay there. So here's another piece of blue that I actually made a flower, and look how the blue takes on the pinks and then the blues from the blue fabric. So if I would make the center a different color, now I can go ahead and put something pink in the center and have a finished flower. So it's just an idea for you to really learn a trick. So there's an example of using it in the center. Here's the example of doing it on the outside. Okay, so we finished this one. We're going back to making this flower here. Okay, and we did this bottom portion here, and now we need to do this portion. So the one I made, I took, there it is, this is it. I took that color and I put this on top, and it's the same, but it's just a different fabric and a little more fabric. So here's the white and here's the white. On this one I decided to actually, let me show it to you. Here it is. I decided to take a lot more frays off. So this is a little bit, it's a little piece of fabric. I'm using still the 9 inches, although if you were watching, so you do this one exactly the same, you just cut it smaller. So here's the one we're doing now, and can you see it is 1/4 of an inch here and 1/4 of an inch there. So when we're done with this one, I want you to do the same as you did here, and it will become like that. Now this one, remember, we want it to be smaller than this one. Can you see the difference? So a lot of times you can make it all kinds of sizes. You just variate the sizes. So this one only has like 1/4 of an inch, but I really don't want all this white taking over all the power. If you can see, what I did is I took off a lot because I wanted the textile shabbiness of the white to be the star, and the pink to still be important. So here's the other. I cut the piece. It's 9 inches long still, but let me tell you, so this is about 2.5 inches, and the other one for the other center was going to be 3 inches, and the one that we just finished is just a little over 4 inches, but it's about 4 inches. It's also 4 inches. So I'm going down 4 inches, 3 inches, and then this one is 2.5 inches. So this one I'm going to do another a la Liz one, but we're going to make some petals. So this cotton folds well, and I'm not using a lot of fabric, so you just have to fold it. I folded it in half, and I folded it in half again, and then I think I'm going to do it in thirds because I want my petals to be about thirds. This doesn't have to be exact either. Don't sweat it. It really doesn't have to be exact. There you go. Cut off the corners like I've shown you in the past. And you can make them, these ones we're going to make pointy. How about if we make these pointy so we could see how it looks pointy? So I'm going to leave them pointy like that. Okay. You can change the shape. You can make it more round. But I'm deciding I want them to look different or slightly different. So I'm going to make them pointy. There we go. Pointy. Now you do it exactly like I showed you earlier. All right, I did that. Now I want you to see that the shape that it looks right now, it actually looks pretty fluffy. And it has a nice, beautiful look to it. But I actually want it a little even more fluffy. You can see I fluffied this one up. So just go like this. Pull it forward. Hold on to this string and kind of pull it forward. And if it looks the way you like it, then leave it like that. It actually has just one layer, but it looks like it has a lot of layers the way this flower comes out with alos technique. It's this technique that does that. Makes it so beautiful. Okay, so now you take the 4-inch one you made, and this one's the white circle flower. I just did it off camera. And you do it exactly the same way you did the first one, and you put that on top. And then this little one we just finished making, you put that on top. Now there's one more little trick I'm going to show you. You notice how this is much more shabby than the one we just did. This is my trick. I just take it, the scissors, don't do it too hard because the fabric, depending on your fabric, you can see how the petals curled. See that? So you can curl you can curl as many as you want. You can curl them forward however you wish. I just curl some of them. I don't curl them all most of the time. And then I'll even sometimes, if I want it to be fuller, I might go and get the back ones and curl them the opposite way. And it stretches the fabric. It shabbies it up a little more, so it makes it a little more shabby. If you like the shabby look, then this is a very easy way for you to get it. It depends on how much time you have for your flowers. You know, you can make these flowers, you can spend more time with each one, or you can just, you know, they were just beautiful just the way they were. This is beautiful. Look, it hasn't even, I haven't taken off the edges. And on this one, I took off a lot of edges. Can you see the difference? All I did was I shabbied it up more before I made the flower. And it's because that's the look I wanted. So you decide, do I want to take the time to shabby mine up more or not? Sometimes you have the time, or you're going to be or sometimes you're using it for a very special project. So here, remember I told you, if you wish, you can glue that. A lot of times I'll just stack them on top of each other because you know what happens? We end up gluing it underneath anyway, and it stays together looking like that. Because we'll put glue underneath that'll keep those petals together. Glue it. Now this one right here, if you want to shabby it up afterwards, you can, because don't put too much glue. Put enough glue. Your glue, when you put it on, I push in the center, and these pop up. It gives it even more body if you use the glue to help to pop it up. So I'm putting glue just here. And that should be enough glue to keep this flower on, you know, just a nice big glop of glue. And then this is so thick, it's not going to burn your fingers. And I also pull up on the petals, just, you know, while it's drying, I'm holding it and pulling up on the petals. There we go. Put the heart button on. Looks lovely. Do you see how this is Liz with Crafty Devotion. I hope you've been inspired today. Please share my tutorials with your friends, share them on your social media pages, subscribe, and comment below with any questions or comments.